Well, I think the big thing that's driving optimism in the satellite industry today is the fact that our functionality and capabilities that we can deliver are growing. It's like many high-tech businesses where, because we're being able to deliver higher bandwidth, higher throughput, smaller devices, lower cost devices, lower power consumption devices. That means we can deliver more capability and functionality to the end user in whatever sector they're in. And that need is growing. Maybe you could say to some extent it's a result of what's happening with wireless apps generally, where these are being extended more and more to remote environments. And I don't care if that's over the ocean, on the ocean, in a desert, but also in more remote areas. I mean, that's what we do and that's what we deliver. And to the extent you can match up to the wireless applications and functions that exist where terrestrial systems are, our pie will grow. And so I think there's an optimism around the capability of satellites improving and the functionality improving. Well, the government has always been pushing the edge. Governments generally, they're sort of the early adopters of many of these technologies for often good reason, because of the kind of critical applications they often are supporting and demand. I think we're seeing that government users are driving the demand for bandwidth, are driving the demand for higher performance systems. And in these remote environments, obviously that is something that is, for satellite, a unique set of applications that we could potentially address. But it's really the same basic applications that are being driven where there are terrestrial systems as well. So, for example, in a very simple way, you take a soldier and you put him out in the field. Well, what has he been brought up on his whole life? He's been brought up on internet access and basic email access and often Facebook and you name it. And while these aren't the kind of applications normally people think of for government, it's a reality of the situation that you just can't pick a soldier up today that's been brought up on the internet and drop them in the middle of wherever and expect them not to have some kind of access for social reasons, if nothing else. Well, I think we're in a situation, particularly being here in Washington, D.C., where you hear a lot about the sequester, about what that means, what it means for government budgets, and what impact in turn that has on our businesses. I mean, that's an obvious one because it's the single biggest sector of demand for satellite services. Of course, Inmarsat's history and reputation has been built around safety services and more around first responders and people providing emergency services and jumping into situations where terrestrial networks, for whatever reason, aren't functional or don't exist. And those situations, no matter what government budget cuts occur, will still be there, and that human need will have to be served, and that sort of emergency need will have to be served. So in areas like that, I think you will continue to see growth, higher demands for connectivity than ever, because these services are more dependent on wireless than they ever have been before. So there's a big opportunity here, and we just have to keep our focus on investing and developing those services.